This is a race that runs out of the Trinite. We headed down there with two other Dazcats, Suenos with Rupert and Casper, as well as Bare Necessities with Bruce and his young crew. It's intended to be 320 miles. They vary the length of the course depending on the weather conditions, so it's quite sensible because they want to get everybody back by the Saturday night. Starts on a Thursday, and I think this year we did about 260 miles. There was definitely some very light winds.
Keeping a close eye on the AIS. Some serious competition there. No limit. Ultramare 5X.
5X. Custom.
5X Turbo, no less. Little two-seat microlight. There's Rupert in behind.
Dans moins de 2 minutes, début de procédure pour les IMOCA. Dans moins de 2 minutes, début de procédure pour les IMOCA.
Couple of sweaty foredeck hands. He's fucked. He's going to have to go underneath this. Now he's curling it. Big bear away with that lot. Boom! Bye bye, Emmett. Damn it, we're going to get a load of dirt off of that thing, aren't we? What's the full deck crew?
Armen Lighthouse just behind us. Just straight underneath the sun, probably can't see it. We're up in the chop now. We've got a couple of
Suenos. It's kind of a dreamy sea. We're all still here, still talking, although there were a few calamities today. But then, when you look at this sunset, then all of a sudden, really, all that ebbs away. Mind you, the lack of wind may get quite disturbing in the end. There's the competition in the distance there, battling into light airs. It doesn't feel much of a race at the moment. So we finally, at the top of the mast there's a completely different wind than there is. Yes, there is nothing at the bottom exactly. So it's all good in the world, really. Here, anyway. The pots are bubbling. Oh, look at that.
Explain how you managed to have Saviol behind you all this time. About, what, say, 12 hours now? And they're professional and...
Well, I think they had a little bit of a detour at the start. They missed one of the boys out. Luckily, one of their chums called them up and said, "Oi, oi," and they turned around. And then last night, I don't know what happened. It must have been quite hard work, I reckon. They are only just now getting a wriggle on.
Yeah, they're catching up. They've got big boats and they're professional, so I think we're doing fairly well.
How's she going then, Chris?
She's not the edge, but she's going alright.
It's not quite on the edge then.
It's 20 knots of breeze and not be close to the edge.
As a French structural engineer we've worked with over the years, Malric, so it's great having a Frenchman on board for the French race just to make sure we're doing things the right way. He's actually currently working for the Societe team and Thomas Cavall. Good to have that sort of calibre of people around.
So how, Marek? How are you? Enjoying your trip on the Dazcat?
Very nice sailing, a bit calm yesterday and windy this morning. It's downwind, I managed to clock maybe 60 knots at one stage. Most of the time it was between 12 and 14 knots. The wind was quite dry. The bow didn't hit the waves too hard and it was gentle.
Plot here, we've got to go around the red ringed marker at the northern end of Belle-Île, and then we've got to head further south, leaving Belle-Île to starboard, and then head back up to the Trinite. So good speed at the moment, 9 knots, and supper's about to be served. And have we got the obligatory Encona sauce in there? Excellent. Not sure where Suenos or Bare Necessities are anymore. Off the AIS, so we haven't got any phone reception to be able to look at the yellow brick. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens later on in the race.
And here we are for another little narcissistic selfie on the Armen Race, where it's all got a bit boisterous after going around the virtual mark. And we are still here on the Rupert boat. Day 2, which is basically all over the place, overfalls everywhere. The seas are pretty mad. It's like a cauldron around here at the moment. We're all hanging on basically. Rupert's still smiling, look at that, he's only just got up. And now he's got this. Yeah, apart from breaking the tack line overnight and having to jury rig it on the bow spread, everything is still in one piece and all good, really. Ooh, that looks wet. The hot water and the fridge is still working, so everything is alright. This is pretty remarkable stuff. Whoa, scabba. Check it out. Anyway, this is only just a patch, and then on the other side. Yes, that's proper water, isn't it? Okay, so yes, situation changes all the time. Back to the business in hand. Biff is only a few miles, 3 miles ahead, so there's stand a good chance we lost Bruce overnight around the back here somewhere, so I don't know where he's gone. He's still smiling, look at that. He hasn't slept very much, but hey. Yeah, as usual in pictures, the seas don't mean much, but you know, when you kind of dive into it with 5 tons of boat, it becomes a little more animated and lively. So yeah, we have been all in full battle dress today, as it all was, you know, gnarly in places and lovely in others. And we are, well, I was going to say unfortunately, in the company of Bare Necessities. It's Brucey, who had, I tell you, the hoon of his life about 10 minutes ago when he put his screecher up only for a little while. And he must have had the massive white knuckle ride of his life, because he was flying a hull more half the time, I'd say. So yeah, respect. The boy has balls, I suppose one could say. But he thought better of it after a little while when he noticed that he wasn't actually going to where he was supposed to go to. It was a bit of a power move on his behalf, which may or may not benefit him in the long run, but hey, let's wait and see. It's still a whole nother 24 hours or so before we get anywhere near some sort of resultage. And yeah, so the fleet's now right spread out. People have done different things. I don't know, Biff has just disappeared. I suppose today was his day, as he has had a lot of good breeze, and that boat does take up off in a lumpy sea when it is like that. Anyway, so I think we'll find out before the battery runs out.
Morning, Matt. On our way to the finish.
Morning. How
far to go?
Less than 10 miles now.
Good kids. Trimming the kite. Up here, enters the Gulf de Morbihan, and our finish line at La Trinite. About 10 knots. So hoping to be there in about an hour. We've got a couple of jibes to do. Just had a bacon butty, beautifully delivered by Chris. Pete's up here. We've got old Critter 23 metre on a hull behind us.
Tense moments just before before the finish. There's Rupert's new kite doing the business. This kite works very well as long as you're running downwind.
That's 9 or 10 multi-hulls there. The first boat was a Ultramar 5X sort of custom carbon boat, no limit, 60 foot long. He was very quick. Then we had Acapella, which is a water green, I think, Trimaran, which Charlie Capel maintains and races, and then we came in third. So we're lucky enough to be given the memorabilia of the Armen Race on that one, and then we had Suenos was fourth and Bare Necessities fifth.
And here we are, suffering once again on Suenos, the Rupert boat. Now together joined by Cyrus, who is here as well, all the way from New Zealand, would you believe? Rupert has supplied a sumptuous breakfast whilst doing 9 knots. We are heading towards Falmouth, which is in the grey distance, and there, where the blue sky is where France was.
It still is.
Yes, the sea is a little bit lumpy, but somehow we seem to survive. It's like a Sunday morning breakfast scene, really, with slightly different clothes on. But yeah, so teapots, there was a whole tea ritual earlier. It was it's interesting from a cultural perspective. And so we go. We can see our breath nowadays, so we must be getting close. And that's about the extent of the navigation this morning, as well. All is good.